because it can be, I mean, how devastating to deal with the loss of a loved one, maybe not the best way to jump right in. Right. What are some of the services that you do? You were telling me that you do a lot of arts and that can help be expressive. Tell us a little bit about some of the work that you do within the program.
So it's a lot of play, it's a lot of glitter.
What better way to feel better than glitter, right?
So we talk about feelings, coping skills, and memories all throughout. We encourage the kids to bring in a photo of the person who died if they want to. That gives them that permission to say, this was my mom, this is my brother, these are the fun things we did together. It starts around play, especially for our youngest kids. So they're 3 to 6 in our youngest age group. They learn through play. Play is their job. They need to figure out what happy is, what sad is. So they're doing puppet shows. We've got dress-up clothes. We've got a yoga area for all of our kids. So they're trying to figure out, when I'm sad, what does it look like, and who can I go to? Tonight in group, we're talking about rainbows, because our kids like rainbows. So you've got to have the sun to have those good positive things. The rain sometimes is not so good, but something good can come out of it. So we're also talking about dreams and fears that the kids have, sometimes making dream catchers, sometimes talking about decorating a pillowcase so that they can put their positive memories on there. So if they wake up in the middle of the night and they're missing their mom or dad, if they put a positive memory on their pillowcase, that might help them out a little bit. Clay, painting, Play-Doh, music, journaling. So that's the mediums that we use.
What is it like to see children, teenagers go through programs like this and be able to cope and to deal and to move on and really make connections with other people going through this?
So the biggest kind of feel-good moment for me is when, a couple. So there are kids that I knew that were like 8 in the program. So I've been with Friends Way for about 16 years.
Been doing this a while.
Doing a long time. Now those 8-year-olds are now 22, and now they're volunteering for us. So they're giving back to the program. But even a 4 or 5-year-old coming to group, they know why they're there. They know their dad died, but they're not able to verbalize it right away. It might be 6 months until they're actually able to say those words. And then once you hear those words of, my daddy died, and then they finally make the connection that every other kid, all these 8 or 10 other kids, also had someone die, it's almost like this aha moment, and that's what you want to capture.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your volunteers, because what an amazing thing to do to be able to help children, to help teenagers get through something that's so traumatic, that's so really uprooting from their normal, regular life. And you just mentioned that you had people go through the program and become volunteers. You just had a training program.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your volunteers. Maybe if people are interested, thinking, this is something that I can help do, I really want to help try to make a difference. Tell us a little bit about your volunteer program and really what's expected of people.
So I always say our volunteers are the world's greatest people. You're volunteering your time, so you're doing a job that we should be able to pay you for, but we can't. So we ask for, it's a 20-hour training. It's set over 3 weeknights and a Saturday. And then after the training piece, they get to observe 2 nights to see a particular age group that they're interested in. They want to see a preschool age group. They want to see what the adult group is like. So during the training, the nuts and bolts of it is we're talking about grief theory and how we got to where we are and why Friends Way is doing what the services that we're providing. We're talking about children's developmental understanding about death. What a 3-year-old understands, what an 18-year-old understands, how to best help these kids. We have an expressive arts component to our training where I've got one of my volunteers who comes in and does an experiential for our volunteers. So you kind of get to feel what it's like for the kids, but this is like their time to talk about and experience what it's like to do art. We go into spirituality. We talk about how trauma can affect the grieving process. Unfortunately, with suicides and homicides, that makes it really hard too.
Yeah.
So after all of that, and then I bring in a panel of my recently trained volunteers or some very veteran volunteers so that they can ask a Q&A to say, all right, be real with me, like what's group really like? Yeah. Ryan's saying it's like this, but let's try to figure this out.
Yeah, if you've been doing it for 16 years, you've probably experienced a lot of questions.
But a lot of it, you've got to just experience at group, and it's hard to, capture everything, in a training. So we ask for 1 year. We have a couple of people have been there longer than me.
Yeah.
And then some, a handful of years, 10, 12. We get a lot of college students who are in the counseling track, local here to JWU, URI, Brown. And again, 12 out of my 60 volunteers that I oversee were previous participants.
Wow.
So that's a great, thing for our program.
It's a testament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the work that you do. Yeah.
Right.
And kind of going along those lines, it seems like your commitment, that's pretty fair, because it seems like you would want people to be consistent in the children's lives as they work their way through their grief.
Right. So our programs happen every other week throughout the school year. Monday evening, I've got 2 Tuesdays, so alternating, and then a Wednesday group. So we meet about 18 times throughout the year. It's about a 4-hour commitment twice a month, so 8 hours. So it's coming around 5:45, 5:30, 5:45 for dinner and prep, and then families arrive, dinner, then we have group, and then we debrief at the end of the evening, and they're out of there by like 9 o'clock. And as you mentioned, consistency is so important.
Yeah.
They've already had a loss. If you make a connection with me, and I'm not there, then you're gonna have a harder time when I'm back there to be like, oh, it was somebody else, Ryan. Like, what the heck,
Yeah, exactly.
And these people, they want to be there. They, obviously vacations and things happen, but if they're not there, they miss it too. They're like, oh, I can't believe I didn't have pizza on Monday night, and I miss friends with. So.
Exactly. I'm curious, through the program, have you seen, there's been such a problem with drug overdoses. Have you seen a rise in participation with children, maybe parents or loved ones dying with drug overdoses?
We have, and a lot, certainly in the last 6 months. The hardest things is that the parents aren't always as truthful with the kids about the cause of death. So my job is to educate and encourage them and sit with them and provide that safe space so they can explain that it was due to mental health issues, that, daddy had a sickness in his brain. We're seeing a lot of kids, unfortunately, in that like 7 to 10, 8 to 11-year-old age group where their mom or dad, or even their brother or sister, so there are young kids dying by suicide as well, and to try to figure out how to best give them the information that they need. It's awful, and again, the phone calls that happen, and families don't want their kids to be the only one. I wish I could say that, no, you'll be the only suicide. Unfortunately, there aren't, but again, that allows me to place them in a group on a night where there are similar circumstances of death, so that, again, that they won't feel like they're the only one.
So really, when calling and connecting with Friends Way, being open and honest is really the best policy for these children, so that they're getting the services and getting in contact with, so they can move forward in their grieving process.
Absolutely. Being honest with these kids, and almost, again, as adults, we don't like to be having a question answered with a question.
Yeah.
But for kids, it's okay, because it gives you that barometer to figure out, where are these kids at? What's the question that they're really asking? And I'm curious as to why they want to know it. So again, sitting with your kids, giving them, developmentally honest information, and we've got resources and everything on our website. I'm happy to answer any calls, via email, etc., just to figure out how to help.
And your funding is so important, and insurance doesn't cover this, you were telling me, which is really interesting. And so funding is a big deal, and you have a big, huge fundraiser. In fact, your staple fundraiser is coming up at the end of this month, which is exciting. Tell us a little bit about what's happening on. It's April 28th at 6 p.m., Diamonds in the Sky.
Yes, so our services are free. Relying on grants, fundraisers, and donations. So as you mentioned, our biggest gala, Diamonds in the Sky, I remember meeting you when you just moved to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
You were there with Barbara Morse Silva. It's it's dinner, dancing, cocktails, silent auction items, live auction items, event sponsors. So we've had a gala each year for like the past 15, 16 years, and every so often we try to change it up. So this year we're going to be at the Ledgemont Country Club in Seekonk. One of our board members is the owner, Joe Ruggiero. He's our title sponsor. We've also got a few other folks, Centerville Bank and Pawtucket Credit Union, Hasbro coming in as a sponsor. So we're looking for people who can pony up some real dough so that we can continue to provide the services that we are providing and hopefully at some point, expand our services.
And really, how crucial is it for these fundraisers to continue the services? Because you're looking at a huge event, a huge gala, and your services are free.
Right. So every dollar that comes into Friendsway goes back into the program. I'm the only full-time employee. My executive director works very part-time for Friendsway, but has a full-time job with Gateway. So we're affiliated with Gateway and Lifespan Systems. So everything from pizza, arts and crafts, mortgage, lighting, my salary, all those things, if we didn't have enough money to do whatever, we would have to kind of stop doing as much as we're doing and kind of scale back. So we're a necessary service. I mean, nobody wants to have to know who we are, but everybody kind of does. Or once you're affected by grief, then you know who we are.
So that is Diamonds in the Sky, April 28th. It's at 6 o'clock, and tickets are still available, right?
They are. They're $150. We're doing open bar, and we really want to have a great evening. We've got dancing with Malloy, and dinner will be great. And
that sounds fun. And you also have another fundraiser coming up in the fall, golf tournament, right?
Correct. So last year we partnered with Bradley Hospital for a golf tournament at Ledgemont. Very successful, and the date will be in September. It's on a Tuesday. Still ironing out details, but again, check the bradleyhospital.org for information as well as the Friendsway website.
That's what, just want to make sure we get the info out there if people can't make the big gala, and of course, if you're interested in volunteering your time or just making a donation,
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Of course. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming and talking
Thanks,
about
Molly.
Friendsway. It's always good to see you.
You too.
It's always good to see you. And if you want more information, you can check out their website, get more information, or if you need your services, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Make sure to get in touch with Brian. You just said you're going to take people's phone calls at any time.
Right, yes.
And appreciate the work that you do within the community.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks for having us.
Of course, let's take our picture so we can get that up on Facebook.